All right. How is everybody doing? Let me just quickly position this. Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome in to today's live training. How is everybody doing so far? And who is joining me today? Oh, girls, I've got a very interesting topic to talk to you ladies about today, because some of the things that I'm going to be sharing, these are things that your girl has been using in her life, and something happened very recent to me that got me thinking and saying, hey, I need to come teach these ladies how to do this, because if you're someone that is wanting to, level up your feminine energy and, you want to move and act like a lady, there's certain things that come with the territory. And if you don't understand these things, what you're going to notice is that you're going to find yourself being pulled back and triggered back. And then you're going to come ask me, Amy, I did this today. Why didn't it work? Okay. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. So welcome in, everybody. Welcome in to the ladies that are joining me live. Welcome in, Cecilia. Thank you for joining. Welcome, Crystal. Thank you for joining. Welcome, Jessa. Thank you for joining me today. Hey, Rash. Welcome in. Thank you for joining. So if this is the first time that you're seeing one of my live trainings or you're seeing me live, well, welcome. My name is Aby. I am a feminine life coach. So I help professional women who are feeling overwhelmed. I teach them and help them to have a more balanced work life. And one of the strategies that I use is by helping women embrace their feminine nature and their feminine energy. And that's why when you're seeing my content, you're going to see how to do things act like a feminine woman, how to use your feminine energy to do this, how to use your feminine energy to do that. It's because I believe strongly in a woman using her feminine energy to level up her life, to raise her life, to raise the standards of her life, to raise the quality of her life, right? So again, welcome everyone. Typically on my live trainings, I usually have my notes. So if you see me looking here, I'm looking at my notes, and I have my water today, but today I'm having tea, raspberry leaf tea. So let's get started. So one of the things that if you are someone who struggles with managing your emotions and you tend to have outbursts, look, I'm not judging you, okay? That used to be me, okay? That used to be me, having outbursts and acting a little bit crazy, right? That used to be me. But what I've learned since I went through my own transformation journey and I healed and I started becoming this person that you guys are seeing is that it does require certain things. Okay, because let's be honest here, who has been in those situations where somebody said something or somebody did something and you want to, you want to address it immediately, right? But the thing about it is it's not so much what you do, it's more about how you do it. Okay, let's take a step back. So recently, for those of you who don't know, I have a 9-to-5, okay? I work in the tech industry. And so very recently, I was in a situation where I felt triggered by something that happened. I was assigned to work on something, and I was having a conversation with the person, and that conversation triggered me. And it's been a while I have felt triggered in that way. And when it was happening, I was like, Amy, you're actually triggered. I'm like, yeah, what's going on, right? And I noticed that there were certain things about that conversation that were causing me to feel that trigger. Now, if it was like years before I had learned all of this work, the typical response, can anybody guess? The typical response, why are you talking to me like that? I don't have time for this. That would have been the typical response. Or I would have just gotten up and just left. Like, I don't have time for this. That is very me. That sounds like me. And I do tell women, there's certain times where you need to do that. Like, you need to physically leave an environment in order to maintain your calm. There's certain situations, but there are also situations where it's not appropriate. Like, if you're talking to your boss at work or you're talking to a client, you're not going to get up and leave and say, I don't have time for this, right? Like, that's not appropriate, okay? But there are situations where if, there's a danger to your life, or it is appropriate within that scenario to get up physically and walk out. Yes, do it. But in the scenarios that I'm telling you, if you're at work, if you have your own business and you're talking to a client that is triggering you, if you are you're talking to your partner in a relationship and the situation is not appropriate to get up and walk away, there's certain dynamics that I would say is not appropriate. Use your wisdom to gauge this, okay? Use your wisdom to know, is this appropriate or is it not? If it's not appropriate, these are the things that I'm going to teach you guys today. So in that situation I talked about, first of all, I was working remotely, so I'm not getting up and leaving my room to go somewhere else, okay? Like, I'm here, right? But the thing that really got my attention about it was that as the person was talking and I was feeling triggered, I could feel the emotions coming up. Like, I could feel the next words from my mouth saying, ugh. So it was almost like I was watching myself getting triggered. I was watching myself. And I had my cup with me. This is why I tell you, ladies, that use yourself as a vision board. Use yourself as a vision board to maintain your feminine energy. Because if you are performing, if you are only doing certain things because that's what you were told, when you get to situations like this, all of that is going to be thrown away. It's going to be thrown away. And the real you is going to come out. So when I was in that situation, I could feel the emotions like, okay. And I had my cup with me. And I had the same tea. So as the person was talking, I opened my cup, crossed my legs. I was sitting like this, and I was drinking my tea. And I was waiting for them to finish. I could feel each time I would open my cup and drink my tea, the feeling that was coming up, I would see go down. The feeling that was coming up, I would see go down. And I didn't plan to drink my tea, but there are certain situations that I have been training myself on certain things to do when I'm feeling stressed or when I'm feeling under pressure. And one of the key strategies that most people would tell you is calm down. But how do you calm down? How do you calm down when somebody has triggered you, right? So back to the scenario. The person was talking. I was feeling triggered. I was watching myself drinking my tea and watching my emotions go down. And when the emotions go down, my response would be, So I stopped talking and allowed them to continue. And then I would drink my tea. That's what I was doing. And when they were done, I was like, okay, let's, why don't we do this like this? And then we can get back to it. We can come back and see how we can approach this. And she was like, okay. And that's how the meeting ended. Now, when I went back, I was like, AB, good for you. Good for you, because girls, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and just, I can control my emotions. Because I know that if I had allowed that everything to come out, that conversation would have ended very, very differently. And it wasn't called for because I also knew where I am in my cycle. So I know that during certain times in my cycle, in the luteal phase, the week leading to my period, I know that my emotions are much more heightened. I know what my body's doing. So I know that the response that I was going to have in that conversation would have led to a very different outcome that was so unnecessary. And then what would have happened was that an outcome tell you ladies, oh, people are like this at work. Work is so toxic. Work is so this. Meanwhile, I'm the one that triggered the conversation. So the reason why I share these details with you ladies is so that as you can take a step back in your own life and see how you can start becoming aware of things like this that can actually help improve your quality of life. And one of the key strategies, one of the key things that when I'm helping women get that work-life balance is being able to combat stress, being able to combat stress, being able to cope with stress, being able to avoid it if you can, like that situation. And one of the things that has helped me is being able to manage my emotions appropriately. It is very hard. Yes. It is very hard, especially if you're the kind of person that if you are very, if you're an opinionated person or you're somebody who likes to share your truth and things like that, I am not. I am on the calm, reserved side. But however, if you are, there are certain situations that call for me to be like that. If you are like that, you're going to struggle with this. So one of the things that I would tell you, first of all, one of the things that I would tell you is that, and what helped me is really understanding what happens when there's conflict. Why do we react the way that we do when there's conflict? Why do we, when we are triggered, why do we respond in that certain way, right? Like the conversation I was having with that person, the response and the things that I wanted to say, I knew were inappropriate, but she was coming out. And I'm so grateful that I had this with me. So this was slowing me down, slowing the conversation down, slowing the thing that I was going to say. And I was looking at it because in my mind somewhere, AB has a cup that is very, very pretty and cute. And so my mind was already getting distracted by the cup, even though I was feeling those emotions. These are things that I actually use. And these are things that actually work. When you are in real life situations, that if you're performing, it will leave you because you're triggered, right? These are things that you can start doing. But back to the point, one of the things that has helped me is understanding how people and how we all react in the presence of stress. Okay, so let's do a little bit of, let's talk about some science here. All right, so in a stressful situation, there are certain parts of our body that regulates how we respond to stress. So if you are somebody that is looking to remain more calm, keep your composure, and use your feminine energy, first of all, you need to understand how the body works, because if you want to use your feminine energy, it means that you're tapping into your body now, not your head. You're tapping into your body and you're responding from there. Now, when we face something that is stressing us, what happens is that the body, the brain, there's a part of the brain, I don't want to go too sciencey, but there's a part of the brain called the amygdala that picks this information, and then it goes to tell every part of the brain, specific parts of the brain, that danger, 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 danger. So in the part of the brain that receives this information, it then goes to, okay, there's danger. Pump oxygen, pump sugar into the blood, give her this, give her that to be able to respond to this threat, right? It thinks you're being eaten by a lion. That's what it thinks, but it's not a lion. It's not a lion. So when the body's seeing this and it's activating all these things in you and in the other person that is stressed, when you're speaking, what you're saying is not actually you. Let me repeat that. What you're speaking and what the other person is speaking, both of you are stressed, is not actually you. So in that situation with that girl that I was talking to, what I was going to say would have come from a place of, I'm in danger, I need to get out of here. And when she hears that, it's also going to trigger her own system too as well. So why do I share all of these details? So when I was learning to maintain my calmness, when somebody's speaking to me in a way that they're stressed, I don't take it personally. This is why you need to know this. Because when we take it personally, that activates our own systems. Like, you know, you're not talking to me. I know you're not talking to me. You cannot be talking to me, right? Which then takes us into a different mode. So recap, first things first, when you're learning to maintain is do not take it personally. Do not take what the other person is saying personally. Do not take what you're saying personally as well. It is not you. It is not that. Okay? This leads me again. Anything I teach you guys has been curated from years and years of experiences that have gone wrong. But it's okay. It's all right. It's all good. We're all learning here. All right? Next, the second thing that I would say is that when you are faced with a situation where you are then triggered into feeling stressful and you want to react. So when that was going on, if you notice, I said as I was holding my cup of tea and drinking it, the emotion was going down. As I was holding my cup of tea and drinking it, the emotion was going down. What that was doing for me was that it was giving me, making me aware that I'm about to react out of proportion. Typically, when we react and we're unable to hold our composure, we don't know when we're doing it. That's why we feel defeated. We're like, how did I speak like this? How did I say that? Why did I say that? I don't even know how I said that. I don't even know why this happened. Because everything is so fast. Our system is so efficient at protecting us from danger. So when a danger occurs, e.g. somebody saying something that triggers you, the body's going to respond very quickly. So when I was drinking my tea and holding my cup, what that was doing was that it was telling the other part of my brain, okay, she's drinking tea, then obviously there cannot be a lion here. So the brain gets, okay, maybe we should calm down. So that's why the emotions were going down. So as I open the tea and I drink, my brain goes, she's drinking tea in the presence of a threat and danger. So obviously, it's not as a big threat as we think it is. Again, so it was pushing the emotions, pushing everything down. Pushing everything down. And the way that I'm explaining to you ladies, there's a science behind it, but I don't want to use too technical words. But what I would say is the next thing that you can do is you either take a deep breath, breathe, and relax yourself. The reason why I give you guys that example is because when I'm feeling very triggered, sometimes I don't remember to breathe. So I need something to physically stop me and remind myself to take a deep breath. So one of the key things about keeping your composure and remaining calm is that your body needs to feel relaxed in order for you to have that. And one of the quickest way that you can tell your system that there's no danger, it's just somebody that is saying something I don't like, is to breathe. When you breathe, what happens is that this oxygen, as it's coming in and going into your body, the part of the brain that goes, no more danger, relax, you guys, relax, starts to activate itself. So what you're going to notice is that you're going to be feeling a little bit calmer, even though you still feel the stress, but it's going to be calming you down. It's going to be calming you down. Slowly, by slowly, one breath at a time, it's going to be calming you down. Because like I said, if a lion is attacking you, the brain sees the lion and you're like, breathe, it's going to think, oh, okay, so maybe this is not as much of a threat as we think. All right, let's calm down. That's what's happening internally. That's what's happening internally. So breathe. Breathe for like 5 seconds and pause. Breathe for like 5 seconds and pause. Breathe for like 5 seconds and pause. That's also what I was doing as I was drinking my tea too as well. This is exactly how I was just on the call, and it was like this. Still feeling triggered, but I didn't feel triggered enough to speak. The next thing is, as you've been able to find something to catch yourself and then breathe, when you start feeling calm, what's going to happen is that the part of your brain that is now in a state of relaxation then goes, okay, we're good. And so now you can speak in a way that would not be distorted. So remember when I said that don't take it personally, whatever somebody is saying in a stressful situation or whatever you're saying. And I said it's not you. The reason I said that is because, again, when you are in a stressful situation and whatnot, everything around you is heightened. Like your perception of things are heightened. Like it's not the reality. It's not the reality. So notice how when you are so frustrated with something and you're talking to someone and you feel like they're not hearing you, you're like, nobody's listening to me. Nobody hears me. Nobody listens to me. Do you know why that's happening? Okay, let me tell you guys a secret. It's not that they are not listening to you. It's the way that you're saying it that is triggering their nervous system to have a flawed perception of what you're saying. You guys, there's a whole science to this. So when you are stressed or you're tense and you're talking to someone who doesn't have experience with dealing with stressful situations or stressful people, you are going to trigger them into what you're feeling. And so when both of you are triggered, you cannot hear yourself. It's like talking to a dead wall. It's like you're talking, they're talking, nobody's hearing. You guys are not there. And so this is going to escalate whatever situation that is, which will cause you not to remain calm. So the main thing that I want you to take out of this point is that when you have calmed down, that's when you can then speak. There's a rule that I follow, and I learned this from one of my mentors. Don't speak when you're triggered, and don't speak to triggered people. If you can master this too, you'll save yourself a whole lot of problems that you will encounter in the future. Don't speak when you're triggered, and don't speak to triggered people. Because if you speak when you're triggered, nobody's going to hear you. Or everything you're saying is distorted because your brain thinks danger, danger, danger. And so somebody who's hearing that is like, but there's no danger around. That doesn't make any sense. Either they react like that, or they're like, oh my gosh, danger, danger, danger. And so both of you, nobody's communicating, right? Nobody's communicating. Okay? So only speak, try your best to only speak when you have calmed down. Don't speak when triggered. And don't speak to triggered people. And, excuse me. Give me a second. And if you are in a situation where, you know, somebody is getting triggered, for no reason, you didn't trigger them, they're just triggered. If the situation is appropriate, just get up and leave if the situation is appropriate. But if the situation is not appropriate, practice the techniques that I told you so that they being triggered doesn't trigger you as well. So you look at them, stop speaking, they're gonna get triggered. You stop speaking. Look for something. If you cannot catch yourself, look for something that can slow you down so that you stop speaking, and then start to breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're still talking. 1. Just mentally count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how you're breathing in while they're talking. What's gonna happen is that when you eventually calm your body down, they're going to receive that, because we mirror people. They're going to see that, why am I barking when there's no threat? Remember, I told you whatever they're saying is because they perceive danger in you, whatever caused it. So what's going to happen is you're going to be like this. They're like this. The body's going to say, but this person isn't talking. This person isn't talking. So they're going to come like this. And eventually, they'll calm down. You maintain your composure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't mean you don't feel it. Don't confuse this. Please. I told you, ladies, you will feel the emotions coming up. But as you start counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's going to calm down. 1, 2, keep counting until it calms down. Eventually, they will calm down. And then when they have left the stressful situation, so the stress has left their body, you guys will then be able to have a conversation where both of you are actually present to be able to resolve whatever conflict it is. I just taught, this thing that I just taught to you guys is, I wish somebody had told me this. Oh, you just saved me a lot of stress. A lot of stress. One of the things that I want to add, because when I was teaching this to someone else, they didn't get how feminine energy came in. It's like, how do you use your feminine energy to resolve conflict? Okay. Feminine energy, the thing about feminine energy is that I am in touch with my body. That's it. So whenever you guys see feminine energy, replace that word with I am in touch with my body, in touch with my body, in tune with my body, in tune with my body. So remember I said when the person starts talking or the situation causes you to feel triggered and you want to start talking, it's because when you want to start talking, you are here, you are in your head, like you are in your brain. The brain has seen danger. Remember I explained the process. The amygdala has seen danger, and it's activating that part of the brain, and it's like, give her more blood, give her more oxygen, give her more sugar so she can escape this danger. When you learn to be in touch with your body, when you learn the processes of doing things that help you stay in touch with your body, this is how you use feminine energy to diffuse situations like that. This is how you can use feminine energy to remain calm. This is how you can, when you are somebody that has programmed your whole body or your whole system to constantly check in your body, this is what I refer to as embodied feminine energy, and this is how you use your feminine energy to do things. So, in the situation that I described with the person that I was talking to, I said something happened that made me have my cup with me, that helped me calm down, breathe, and not allow me explode. Do you guys know why I did that? I'll tell you. So at work, when I know that I'm going to be in stressful situations at work, because my area is quite stressful. So I have been doing something repeatedly for years. For years, I've been doing this because I want to continue to embody feminine energy wherever I am. It has helped me. This is the result of me accepting and valuing my feminine energy. So at work, I surround myself with things that can constantly keep me in touch with my body. One of my favorite things is, well, one of my favorite colors is pink. Do you guys know that there's actually a color theory and there's science behind how physical changes take place in us when we see certain colors? Like when we see certain colors, like for example, blue promotes certainty, that the feeling of certainty, the feeling of security, the feeling of abundance too as well. When we see colors like pink, it promotes that feeling of calmness, feeling of less danger, feeling of not threatful, calm, not threatful, cool. So when I surround myself with colors, I wear colors. When I do all of these things, I am subconsciously programming my brain to take note of what's around me and keep me calm. So if somebody comes into my field and they are like this and I have no idea, but whatever they say triggers me and I'm like, what's going on here? I'm sorry, are you talking to me? And I want to do that because for the better part of my day, my brain has been looking at things that keep me in touch with my body. I'm able to either leverage that physically, or I can just switch my attention to something that helps me relax. And that's it. By the time I take my attention away from the thing that is causing this, it activates the part of my brain that says relax. So as the person was talking and I was feeling tempted, when I picked this up, my brain saw pink. I was like, oh, so cute, calm, relax, and whatnot. I wasn't doing this consciously. It was happening subconsciously. So I didn't even control this. I just knew that I had this with me and I was calming down. And that's how you can use your feminine energy to hack your life. And that's what I do. That's what I do. That's why I tell you ladies that this is something that you're committed to for life. It goes beyond getting facials and massages. Yes, if you like those things, you can do that too. But when you are in a situation, in a real life situation, where you have to show up, if you are not doing this on a physiological level, where it becomes ingrained in your body, you're going to find yourself, you're going to find it difficult to be able to cope. You're going to find it difficult to be able to show up the way that you want. And all of these things, these little things are what cause us to feel stressful and we just start feeling overwhelmed. That's how it starts. The feeling of overwhelm, the feeling of starts from little things like that. I remember it explode. After the conversation is over, I'm going to take that with me. I'm going to go home. I'm going to then spend 3 to 4 hours processing and thinking about, why did this person say this to me? Why did this person say that to me? Why did I react this way for 4 hours? A conversation that was, 30 minutes? It's now 4 hours at home. Then I'm going to go to bed annoyed, angry, irritated, and just like, no. And then because I'm feeling that way, I'm not going to be able to sleep well. I'm going to wake up the next morning feeling even more annoyed. Oh yeah, when we don't sleep, the part of our brain, the amygdala, it magnifies our perception of danger by like 50% or even more. I've forgotten the numbers. So it's going to do ×2 of what we did the previous day. And that's how the cycle continues until you get to a point where you're like, I can do this, AB. I can do this anymore. Yeah, that's how it all works. That's how it all works. And there are many more examples that I'm going to share with you ladies in subsequent trainings. But I wanted to really come here today to let you guys know that this thing that we're working towards, you will find yourself in situations where you don't, unexplainable is not the word. Situations where you can't control, yes, that's more like it. And so certain things that you've been doing will help you navigate those situations better. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you ladies. There was another thing that I did also that helped me when I got up today. It really helped me in managing the conversation that I was having with that person the next day, right? So when I left the conversation and I didn't say anything, it didn't end there. I knew that there was something, the thing that was coming up, I knew I needed to deal with it. Why was I so upset? Yes, I'm in my cycle, I'm in my luteal phase. I know that. I know that things are more, the perception of things are more like this. I know that. But still, that was not a normal response for me, even at this time of my cycle. So I knew I needed to deal with that. And so when I went home, I journaled. Like, what is it? Like, what was the person saying? Like, was it what they were saying? Like, why did I react that way? And I found the root of it. And I just processed it so that whatever was stuck here does not remain there. Because as I was having a conversation, I told you what was coming up went back, right? But that doesn't mean that the charge that was created in my body just disappeared. Like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's why when you experience something and you're not able to release it, when you go to another situation that is similar to the situation that created that charge, you're going to explode because the body's going to be like, no, this again, right? So I knew I had to release that. And this is the part that I call inner work. Inner work. I knew I needed to release that charge there. And when I did, I was able to go into conversation with this person like, hey, yeah, how did you yesterday go? And we worked through the thing, we figured it out. And I was like, hey, you go rest, girl, right? And that was it. That was it. That was it. And I thought, wow, that ended so really well. AB, good for you. Yeah. But more importantly, is staying consistent with doing this work as well. Staying consistent with it. If you have been in situations where you experienced that, but you exploded, don't criticize yourself. Don't put yourself down. That's not the answer to that. Forgive yourself. Show compassion and just do your inner work to release that and learn from it. That's it. Okay? So let me quickly see how we're doing here with time. Okay. So that's all I have for you ladies today. So thank you for joining me. First things first, don't forget, next week, Saturday, we have the how to overcome people pleasing masterclass coming up. Girls, this masterclass is going to change your life. I don't want to share any spoilers, but what I will say is this. The information that I'm bringing into that masterclass, this is coming from years of not being able to speak my mind and speak my truth. Years. And growing up in a place where I had to be all the time. That's not feminine communication, by the way. That's not what a woman does. Because I know if you go Google what is feminine communication, they'll tell you that's not it. Absolutely not. So in that masterclass, I'm going to be teaching you guys the strategies that I use to be able to show up as me, but I'm not acting from a place of aggression. I'm not acting from a place of anger, because those are some of the things that you are going to experience when you are a people pleaser. You will be very angry with yourself and with the world. And you would often be acting in an aggressive manner because you cannot speak your mind. You will find yourself in situations where you'll be doing this. So I'm going to be sharing with you the strategies that I use to be able to overcome this, especially if you are afraid of not being accepted, not being liked, not being loved, because that is a real thing. Like if you're afraid that whatever it is, you're not going to receive love, that is a real fear. That is a real fear. So I'm going to be teaching you guys, what do you do? How do you show up as you without succumbing to the fear of what's holding you back? This is a not generational, but this is a wound within the feminine collective. This is a wound within the women collective that we need to heal. And it starts with each and every one of us. So if you are a people pleaser, I'm talking to you. Yes, it is happening. It's free. It's happening in this group on March 16th at 12 PM EST. Who should come and who should not come? If you're ready not to hear it, if you're in a state where I don't want to hear the truth, AB, just leave me the way I am, then don't come. It's not for you at all. But if you're in a state where it's like, I'm done with this, leave me alone, I need to heal, I'm just tired, no way. I don't want to be used anymore, this masterclass is for you. So I'm going to be releasing more details this week and then next week as well. And then you guys are going to get your own personal invites in your DMs as well. So other than that, ladies, I will see you next week or maybe later this week. Bye.